Welcome to Discover Bright Life, where we share stories of how to overcome loneliness. On this episode, we'll hear real stories from 7 of Bright Life's volunteers.
The way we live our lives today, it's so easy to become disconnected.
I just want to help make a difference to people, and that's because one day I'm probably going to be in that boat myself.
We'll find out their route into volunteering and what impact it's had on their own lives as a result.
I was quite shocked to find that a lot of the people, their only entertainment was the television.
I don't want to be a mum that's kind of just lost when the children fly the nest. I want to kind of rediscover me in a way.
We'll meet an engineer, a nursery nurse, and even a retired customer service manager, all of whom say they've been shocked and inspired by the people they've met walking through Bright Life stores.
She said, I am so glad that I came. And I thought, that's fabulous. How powerful is that? We haven't done anything. No medication, no expert counsellor thing. It was just we all sat together and we had a bit of company and we had a bit of a laugh.
But what does being a volunteer entail? And who are the characters you're likely to meet?
Some of the women have got quite a twinkle in their eye, note. And they do surprise you sometimes.
I looked at my walkers and I had 2 transgender walkers with Father Christmas.
One of the greatest things we can give is our time. Could you be the reason someone smiles today? For more information, visit brightlifecheshire.org.uk. First, let's head to Winsford and meet the drop-in group's regular quizmaster.
Usual rules. No rules. Okay, so your first question. Shush! First round is hobbies and leisure. Now, at my pub last week, the top team scored 79 points on this one. And at my other pub, they scored 81, but they were cheating, so... Again. Right, okay, so this is yours. Which Cluedo weapon is nearest to the beginning of the alphabet?
Well, it must be over 2 years now. My name's Angie, yeah. Must be over 2 years, because when they first advertised in the local paper, that's when I saw the advertisement and I thought, that's interesting, I could do that.
Yes, 1 point.
Well, when I come in today, the first thing I do is have a black cup of black tea and 2 tea cakes. That's my little sin. And then we just have a chat, if there's anything funny happened, tell a few funny stories. They're doing their dancing now, and then we all congregate for the quiz, which I use my pub quizzes. Surprising, there's some brains out there. Yeah, we have fun. I'm the eldest of 7, so I had responsibility for all the other ones after me. I was in the police force, which I joined the police force to help people. I worked for Tesco as a training and development coordinator, and I used to just travel all over and Eastern Europe, everywhere, training people. And after that, I worked as a holiday rep for 12 years. And that is helping people. They're all very different. I mean, there's one lady I was talking to, she's got 2 dogs and they've appeared on TV. All the TV programmes. She said, do you remember that? Oh, what was it called? Not Reckless. Really rough thing up in Manchester. Shameless. And her dogs appeared on that. And they've been in Coronation Street and all sorts. So she was really interesting to talk to. And when they've been abroad on holiday and, we swap stories. And there's one guy, Steve, and it took him ages to actually speak to anybody. He'd just sit there. The minute I walk in now, I go, hiya, Steve, hi! And he's opened up, really opened up. But they're all different. And there's one lady, she gets the Daily Mirror every day, and she cuts the Daily Mirror's quizzes out for me, puts them in an envelope and gives me those every week. I think what shocks me is that I'm amazed really at the number of people who have got family who don't maybe bother with them that much. I was quite shocked to find that a lot of the people, their only entertainment was the television, because they didn't have anything outside of that. And don't go anywhere, don't do anything. And I think this is what Brightlife has really achieved with those people, that they know that on a Tuesday they can come here, and as a result of that they've met other people who go to other clubs and they've palled up. And so they go, oh, we've got Brightlife this morning, then we go to bingo this afternoon, and then we're meeting up on Friday for this. So it's a big social thing. But I was quite shocked when people first come, and they haven't ever done anything. They've had brilliant backgrounds. They've got ex-nurses, people with really good skills. But you go into that decline, I think, where you don't think there's anything outside. And I think we've proved that there is. Yeah, it does scare me, because this is a small minority of a huge problem, and we can't get to everybody. And I think it's really sad that older people in this country are not looked after properly, for not necessarily their medical needs, but their mental needs, and I think it is a huge problem. It's made a lot of difference, because I've met a lot of people through it, and I love the stories. And I feel like I belong with them. I mean, I'm older than some of them. I mean, I'm 76 in June, so I am older than them. But it's lovely when you walk in and go, "Hi, Ange, how have you been?" And it's a social thing, but you're still helping people. Can we have the halfway points, please?
Right, the Mojos are on 9, Charlie's Angels on 8, and Weatherspoon Flirts on 11.
My name's Alison. I worked on the industrial estate in Winsford, and I decided to take early retirement.
Alison, like Ange, is one of 25 volunteers with Brightlife.
I saw in the Winsford Guardian about the volunteer fair, and I went along. And I finished work 3 weeks ago, and this is my second week volunteering.
From Chester to Winsford, she's among the folk giving a few hours of their time to help at Brightlife's many drop-in centres.
Well, I actually came about a month ago. My boss let me have half a day off just to come and have a look. It wasn't quite what I expected. It's really good because you got to chat to different people. There's a lady out there called Margaret who suffers, and her husband goes off for a walk and she gets quite anxious. So today I spent quite a lot of time with her, and I felt that really rewarding because she really enjoyed the quiz, and she was trying to join in. It was really good fun. And then there was another lady, it was her first time today. I could see how much she was enjoying it and getting to talk to other people. I just want to help make a difference to people, and that's because one day I'm probably going to be in that boat myself. So I just want to help. In fact, I'm going to come and join in the aerobics class next week. I'm going to come early and join in that because I think that's important, to keep your health in your mind as well as your body.
My name's Julia Broad. I've been volunteering for about 18 months.
My name is Chris Mosley. and I'm a health ranger for Cheshire West and Chester.
So, when he's going back, let me know and I'll take it.
I guess I started with Brightlife because I met Jackie through our son's cricket team, and she brought me along here, and been coming ever since.
Julia and Chris. They're two of the friendly faces you're likely to meet if you come to the Chatterbox Cafe session in Winsford, where there's a cup of tea, a spot of lunch, and the chance to go for a walk. This is one of the many groups supervised by Jackie, a social prescriber at Brightlife, whose job is to connect those sitting at home alone with those looking to reconnect to their community.
There's quite a few people who come along, and you can see their first time attending the group was obviously very difficult, and that's where, when you understand the background of what somebody like Jackie has possibly worked with them for 12 months, and they come along, they're very nervous, and it's just about being very friendly with them. And within a short number of weeks, they're joining in, they're having a laugh with people, they're getting to know people, sometimes forming friendships as well. You see two people in particular will come along each week and always sit next to each other. That's very lovely to see, because you can almost sit back then and, not interfere and let them, be friends together. I think it's listening to people and their experiences, talking to them. And what I find as well is, whilst you're listening, you quite often get to a bit of a crossroads in a conversation, and it's quite clear that you can go into a sort of sad direction or a happier direction. And in a way, it sounds a bit manipulative really, but it's not. You can steer people to think in a more positive way, just gently, or not, or just listen as they tell you some of the things that are sad or upsetting. And that's quite often all they need. I find it's as simple as that. Sometimes you can overthink it and think that you should be doing something or doing more or giving them more guidance. And I don't think that's it at all. I think it's just listening, really, and giving people company. And humour. Massive in this group, absolutely. And it's great. And it lifts people's spirits so much when we all have a bit of a laugh with the quiz. And in fact, a few weeks ago, it's something that stuck in my mind. One of the ladies that comes here on a regular basis, and she has a lot of health complaints that I think mainly she's in pain a lot of the time. And she wasn't sure whether she was going to come, but she came. And at the end of the quiz, and we were all laughing so much, tears rolling down our cheeks from laughter. And she said to me at the end, she said, "I am so glad that I came. I nearly didn't come. I've had such a fabulous time. I've forgotten all about this, and this. And I've been, crying with laughter. It was such a lift." And I thought, that's fabulous. How powerful is that? And we haven't done anything. No medication, no expert counsellor thing. It was just we all sat together and we had a bit of company and we had a bit of a laugh. And very powerful, though.
Chris isn't a volunteer, but he gets to interact with Brightlife's groups most weeks.
It's not just about me, it's about improving those people that are participating in the activities, their health and wellbeing. And over quite a short period, a few months, you can see people relaxing, enjoying the countryside, becoming more knowledgeable, because obviously with my ranger background, I can add in all those bits of information about trees and wildflowers and birds, butterflies. They get quite enthusiastic about, and they can start recalling that information as well, and they feel quite pleased that they can remember they've seen an orange-tipped butterfly and they can remember what it was called and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's really nice experience to be part of.
Brightlife is all about the people, and especially some of those cheeky characters. I know, because I've been to many of these groups. But what does Chris think of some of the people who come on his walks?
Well, I've got a guy who is really enthusiastic about Father Christmas, and he dresses up as Father Christmas for children's centres and libraries and the shopping centre and what have you. But he also decided he was going to come on my walks dressed as Father Christmas. He has a big long grey beard, naturally, not stuck on, and he looks like Father Christmas most of the year. But when he dresses up, he obviously fits the part perfectly. And I was in the library the other day and I looked at my walkers, and I had 2 transgender walkers with Father Christmas, and I thought, well, I can't really beat that for a diverse and an eclectic mix of walkers. So I thought, well, you just couldn't write it really. But I had Father Christmas and 2 transgender walkers waiting to go on a walk with me. So there's lots of characters out there, and that's all part of the fun, really.
Coming up, we meet Margaret.
I was born in 1936. I go to the gym every day. I do stretch class, I do functional fitness, I do Pilates, and I do 2 or 3 sessions of aqua aerobics. On Friday I have a day off and do some housework if I feel like it.
More about why she volunteers at a community pub in Chester a little later. But first, a reminder that if you're eager to learn more about how you can combat loneliness, then make sure you listen to Discover Brightlife's back catalogue, where you can hear from doctors to social prescribers and some of the people who've come to rely upon Brightlife Cheshire's network. First, let's get back to the stories of more volunteers. Over in Chester, Tuesdays at a church sees another drop-in group and 2 more volunteers for us to meet.
I'm David Bellingham. I live in Chester in Hambridge.
My name's Claire Mackay and I'm from Chester, and I'm one of the volunteers at the Brightlife drop-in at Hambridge.
And so, in a quiet corner of the church's aisles, David began by telling me some of the things he'd observed after volunteering with Brightlife over the last 8 months.
Ladies in particular, I think, seem to be more adventurous than men, and they will go out and do more. That it's trying to get the men in, get them interested, and I find that the ladies on the whole are they're not just prepared to sit at home and not do anything once they've lost a partner or a member of the family. Men, I find, they need to socialise a lot more, and it's getting the right interest for them to encourage them to come back. Today we've got 3 men, which is good actually for our group, and I know people in their 90s that come along and get quite a lot out of it, but they do make the effort to come out, which I think is important. So we in turn have to make the effort to make it a good experience for them.
Do you think that there is a difference between men and women in kind of perhaps an element of pride of saying, actually, I'm not okay here, I do need help?
Yes, very much so. Very, very much so. I live in a complex. It's 41 apartments for people independent living over 55. And we have widowed men and ladies who've lost their husbands. But it's the men that it's the hardest to encourage to come through their door and join in things. Mm.
Tell me about David before volunteering. What kind of things and fascinating careers and interests have you had that bring you to your skill set today?
I was born locally, not too far away in Rossett, brought up on a country estate like the Duke of Westminster's. My father was an estate manager over in Wales, and I studied business studies, but I was involved in the conversion of gas to North Sea gas. But I realised I didn't want to spend the rest of my life training to be a showroom manager, which I was going to be. So I saw an advert for a job in Bermuda, and I applied for it. I was 23 and I got it. I went out there, 2 years experience. It's the oldest British colony in the world. I was working at the oldest hotel on the island, and a very fine hotel, and I stayed 18 years, and that helped me tremendously. I went over there not knowing anybody, and not knowing anything about hotels, but I did my training from the ground up, and it was a good experience. Decided to come back to Britain. I went to London and worked at a private members club. We had members of the House of Lords, House of Parliament, actors and actresses. Princess Diana's mother was a member, and it was a very different way of working. In a hotel, anybody can walk in the door. In a club, they can't, and they have to follow rules. But I decided while I was working in London, my mother's health wasn't too brilliant, that I possibly should come back. So I went to Llangollen and opened a bed and breakfast, and got the first 4-star in the town, and was appointed to the board of directors of North Wales Tourism. But because I wasn't considered local, it was quite difficult to make a profit. So I decided after a few years, no, that enough was enough. And I went to work for Scottish Power. And that's basically where I started my career, working for British Gas in the 1968 till 1972. So I went back to the industry that I'd started in, but very much focusing on customer service, and retired at 65. Always wanted to retire to Chester, and I did, and I really enjoy it. But I do other volunteering as well. So I think it's very important you can bring skills from what you're doing into the type of volunteering I'm doing now. And I think it's important for all of us to give something back in life.
I've been thinking for a long time about volunteering, but the time wasn't right because I was bringing up children, teenagers, doing everything the taxi service, all that stuff. And then I just started to think, actually, life is starting to calm down a bit. I think I can do this now. So I actually saw an advert on a website, doit.org. So that's how I sort of saw the opportunity with Brightlife, and the whole sort of the way they described it just sounded really, really interesting to me.
So what has surprised you about doing volunteering with Brightlife? When you hear about some of the stories or the situations that people find themselves in?
Yeah, it has. I mean, I've always wanted to do something like this because I've been aware that people could find themselves in a situation where they're living on their own, they don't have family living nearby, and they are alone a lot of the time, and perhaps they don't speak to people every day or they don't see people every day. So I was kind of prepared for that. But yeah, I have been a little bit shocked, some people might not see family because they live so far away. They might not see them, they might only see them once a month, and then you think, well, what are they doing the rest of the time? And they are sat on their own, which is, I can understand how it happens, and it just really, I just find it very, very sad. So if I can have a conversation with somebody, even if it's not, it's only, the session lasts 2 hours, but if that can make a difference to somebody's day or somebody's week, I think that's lovely. And so hopefully it helps them, but also I get a lot out of it.
So tell me about Claire before you became a volunteer. So you're obviously a busy mom, but what kind of skills and things did you kind of put on your application?
Right. So that was quite interesting, because when I did the application, I thought, what can I bring to it? So I'm a mum, I've got teenage children, my daughter had just gone off to uni, so I was thinking, right, I need to prepare for when my son leaves home. I don't want to be a mum that's kind of just lost, because when the children fly the nest, I want to kind of rediscover me in a way. So I was preparing myself for that next phase of my life. I have a business with my husband, which is quite full on. So for me, it was kind of like, well, what would I put on my application form? But actually, when you look at it, the sort of skills that I have learned over the last 20 years through raising children, through running a business, actually some of them are quite transferable in terms of listening. That's a really important one. Sort of ideas, sort of having a bit of organisation. I think that's quite helpful. Just trying to think what else. I mean, listening's a massive one. Communication skills, I think, is huge, because when somebody comes to a group like this, they come because they want to engage with other people and they want to be welcomed and they want to have a positive interaction. So that's the big thing that I've really taken from this.
Community is a word that comes up a lot,
Yes.
actually. How important do you think it is that more of us should be connected to our community by doing things like volunteering, helping others?
I think it's massively important, and I think it is the way we live our lives today. It's so easy to become disconnected from community. We're all running around mad busy constantly. We're all using our phones for every aspect of our lives. They never leave our hands, and it's really easy to lose sight of actually having sort of connections with people around us and interaction with people and supporting those that are around us who, could quite easily be forgotten, really. So I think it's something that I don't know if I'm wrong in saying it, but I think community probably over the last 20 years possibly has become a little bit less connected, but I think there's a move to becoming more connected and for people within communities to support each other. I definitely see that there's a need for that.
One of the reasons that I came to become involved in this project and making these podcasts with Brightlife is because loneliness is something that I have faced and had to tackle with.
Yes.
Is it something that you have had to?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And you don't... when I went out to Bermuda at 23, I mean, it's all very exciting and everything, but I really had to work my way up the ladder, both in my career and socially. But I find it doesn't matter what age you are. I know young children who are very lonely and feel isolated in school, and I think that there are more pressures now. I do think that loneliness can affect anybody at all, and I have great respect for people in the clergy who do their work, and then at the end of the day they might have dealt with a funeral, with something else, with somebody terminally ill, but they've got nobody to counsel them. And I think it is important that we all try to overcome loneliness. No, I have experienced it, definitely. Yeah.
It's hard to kind of describe, isn't it, really,
Yes.
to someone who hasn't. And there are so many different dictionary definitions, but until you've kind of sat there and almost some of the feelings that you have, it's hard to kind of sit there and think, oh, this is what this is.
Yes, yeah.
Because there is no kind of clear symptom list with this.
No, and there's no tick box either. When I moved into living in an apartment, it was quite a different lifestyle. I'd always lived before in houses, and except when I worked in London. But you do, and I remember moving in over a 3-month period, really. And there might be a group of people as you walked in said, oh, say hello, da, da, da. And I overheard one lady saying once, oh, he's a good listener, isn't he? And I thought, well, that is important, because some people there are from 55 to 98. But it can be the younger people that really do want to talk. But the only thing I haven't been able to do, unfortunately, and where I live is only 5 minutes away, is encourage people to come here to the drop-in. I don't know what it is, but they don't seem to want to come, and you can't take the drop-in to them. But can only try and encourage and what have you. But I'm pleased today to see that we have got 3 men there, which is good. Yeah.
I'm sure with your charm you can work it eventually, David.
I wouldn't say that necessarily. I'm learning all the time, and I'm very happy to learn. I'm looking forward to the seminar I'm going to tomorrow as well.
Has doing something like this changed your perspective in your personal life as well? You know, perhaps the ways that you connect with older relatives in your family, or even, I suppose, in a deep way, thinking about, well, how will I prepare when I'm in their shoes further down the line?
Yeah, it definitely has. I think for me on a personal level, connecting with people and knowing that I can help people or make a difference to somebody's life actually has had a really positive impact on me as an individual, but also, understanding for sort of people around me what the challenge is, what it must be like, how debilitating loneliness could be, and I look at myself, and at the moment, I am never alone because obviously I've got my family around me, I've got my children, but yes, this could easily be something that I could be facing in years to come. And I think if being part of something that is supporting other people, I can see actually there will be sort of opportunities out there for me as an individual, in years to come.
You said that you've always wanted to do this.
Yes.
It's always been niggling at the back of your mind.
Yes.
Where did that kind of interest, that intriguement come from?
So as I was growing up, I had a very close relationship with my grandparents, and I spent a lot of time with both sets of grandparents, and I was always really fascinated to hear about their lives and what life was like sort of when they were younger. We used to spend a lot of time looking at photos. So I think it came from there, and I just really enjoy that interaction and finding out about people. Perhaps I'm nosy, I don't know. But it really does come from those relationships that I had, and I've lost my grandparents now. So I think that gap was there, and so that's where it came from.
Has doing something like this changed your relationship with your own parents?
Yeah. So I think it's about increasing my understanding of the challenges that you may face, as you get older, and loneliness could become an issue. So I'm more aware of it, and also more aware of what opportunities are out there and what support is out there. If that need arises, hopefully I'll be able to support more.
Hi, my name's Lynn Smith. I'm a volunteer for Brightlife at the Centurion Pub on a Tuesday afternoon.
Here's your cup of tea, Dave. A cup
Thank
coffee.
you very much.
It's
What's
coffee.
your name?
Margaret. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Are you all right?
Yes, your coffee doesn't taste too bad either. I've just had a little sip.
Do you want some more milk in it?
Well, at the moment, a lot of people are still coming in and catching up, on gossip and what's been happening the last 2 weeks they've been doing, and sort them out with drinks and everything, and obviously the biscuits and that. People have been bringing pictures of themselves when they were very young, so it's a bit of a laugh as well.
We've got 8 pictures here, all black and white. So we've written the names down of the people that are on here. Which one's me?
Which one's you? Oh God, no then.
Which one's a gorgeous one? How old are you? I'm not telling you. No.
Well, this time we meet Lynn along with Margaret. They're two of the volunteers here at the community pub in Chester. But how exactly did they come to hear about Brightlife? And why has it become something they look forward to as much as the participants?
It was very strange, really. I was in the doctor's waiting room with my mum. She had an appointment, and there was a video thing on the TV screen, and Brightlife kept coming up. And I thought, I've never heard of Brightlife. What do they do? And it says it wanted volunteers. So I phoned up and inquired, and that's how I got involved. Yeah, I'm interested in how their lives were. Some of these people have such interesting lives. You don't realise how much they've done, how much travel they've done and everything. And it makes you feel a novice, really. I don't feel as if I've hardly been anywhere by the time I finish talking to them. But other than that, I enjoy making up the quizzes, and I think they enjoy it because, getting your mind, grey cells working, really, even for myself. I test it out at home to see if they know the answers first. So, I mean, some of them are very good characters, and some of the women have got quite a twinkle in their eye, naughty. And they do surprise you sometimes. But yes, it's it's very hard to remember their names. So luckily they all have stickers on them, which helps a lot. Yes, made quite a few, and obviously the volunteers made a lot of friends with them. Yes, it's been very nice, because I'm the last of the volunteers new joining them, so I just feel as if I've always been coming, to be honest. But I don't think it's a year.
And all we need is a little courage.
You've got very dark eyes, and you don't look fair.
But it's more or less a black and white photo, look. You can't have red or blue or green.
No, but he's got big eyes.
I'm Lynn Humphreys, and I'm the Engagement and Volunteer Manager for Brightlife. I normally want to know why they want to volunteer with us. If they've never done any volunteering before, they worry about what they would have to offer. They worry about coming into a new situation. They worry about whether they've got the right skill set to volunteer with us. We don't have a one-size-fits-all for the volunteers that come to Brightlife. I mean, what we're looking for is someone who can sit and listen to people and chat to people and engage people and talk to people. I think some of our volunteers are just sort of, I want to say ordinary people, just people who just want to do something a little bit, giving back a little bit. And to start with, I don't think they know exactly what the role's going to be like. But I think what happens is they get involved and then they get chatting to the participants. And when I go in, if I turn up at the drop-in session and I'm sort of scanning the room, and I don't always immediately see my volunteers. And for me, that's a good thing, because it means they're sort of sitting down and chatting with the participants and just sort of, being a group member, really.
Anybody else wants another cake while I'm here? Is it? Have I done it right? Oh, God. I can't give you, Molly. You're being very, very good, Molly.
From the volunteers' point of view, I think most people come and start to volunteer as a sort of giving something back. But my volunteers don't like to miss a session, because I think they've got used to coming along to the weekly or the fortnightly session. They enjoy the company of the participants that come along to those sessions, and they do really feel part of those groups. And obviously what we're hoping is that the volunteers will continue to be part of those groups, and we'll be able to carry on and keep these groups going after Brightlife's finished. My aim over the next sort of 6 months or so is to make sure they've had the right training, they've got the right support, and they feel confident that they could take on and carry on with the groups.
I was born in 1936, and I really love it. I go to the gym every day. No, I go every day. Monday's my big day at Total Fitness, and I go on the Monday morning and I do stretch class, then I do functional fitness, then I have a coffee or a hot chocolate, then I do Pilates, and then Monday night I go to aqua aerobics. Tuesday I go to a stretch class. Wednesday I do Pilates and aqua aerobics. Thursday I do aqua aerobics again. And Friday I have a day off and do some housework if I feel like it. I had my husband who had dementia, and I looked after him, and that was very restricting because it was 2 years solid where I looked after him. He wasn't capable of doing anything really. But after he'd gone, that was when I felt I would like to give a bit more to somebody else and give some of my time to other people that might not be able to do what I've been able to do. So that was really the main reason that I came and volunteered, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. Hello, my name's Margaret Willey, and I love coming to Brightlife, and I'm here this afternoon just to generally talk and hopefully make somebody very happy. I heard about it with a friend's wedding. A lady was there, and I hadn't heard about it before, but there is a lot more now because I've seen it in different places, in the surgery and in the chemist, but I didn't know anything at all about it. But I do think it is a very good thing because people just come, and to come as a volunteer is absolutely lovely because I get nearly as much out of it as they do, I think. Well, I think it's really to make somebody's afternoon, to be able to talk to somebody and enjoy being with them, and to see if they need any help or understanding over different things that they've got, problems perhaps going on, and they just feel like talking. And sometimes they can talk in this situation because it's quite a friendly atmosphere. The only thing I've found is that some are more lonely than we realise, and to come and talk and just be with other people obviously helps them a lot. I hadn't thought of it as even though I'm on my own. I've got friends, family, lots around, and you suddenly realise that some people haven't got that at all. And although they come, this is the main thing that perhaps they're doing or whatever. So I find that was the biggest thing I noticed when I first came, was loneliness. I find that for me, coming here just gives me a lot of pleasure and a lot of happiness, and I'm sure that this is the ultimate that they get out of it as well.
If one of the greatest gifts we can give is our time, then what skills do you have to offer?
I am a wife and a mother of 2 teenagers. I've worked in engineering and IT, but always in a sort of commercial sense. And I think actually just sort of life experience brings you to a point where if you've got the desire to help in a way, then volunteering is a great thing to do.
I think people maybe are unaware of what is involved and how they could help, because it doesn't matter what job you've done. If you've got any social skills at all, you can volunteer.
Try it. Absolutely try it. You don't know till you try, do you? You know, if you think, oh, I would fancy that, just go for it and try it.
To find out more about volunteering with Brightlife and the legacy that we hope to leave behind for many years to come, visit brightlifecheshire.org.uk.